Okay, I want to talk about compulsive obsessive disorder when you're schizophrenic. Now, I find myself compulsively obsessing over things like cleanliness. Um, I've got to brush my teeth at a certain time. Uh, I've got to change my bedding at least once a week. Um, I've got to wash my hands every single time I go to the bathroom because I know a lot of people don't, but I have to, I have to wash my hands at every single opportunity. Any time I've touched even a plate, my dinner, I've got to wash my hands after my dinner, you know, I've got to I've got to have my clothes washed every time I wear them. I never used to be like that. This is new to me, and I don't know whether it's the medication, the antipsychotic medication that's doing it, or whether it's part of the illness. Because when you're talking about the brain, you're dealing with like something that's so complex. You don't know what a diseased brain does to you, and neither does a psychiatrist, even though they think we, even though they believe we do, they've got no more information than we do, They don't know anything we don't know, or we can look up on the internet, you know. I'm just going to write down the title of this blog, otherwise I'll forget it. Hang on. Yeah, a psychiatrist doesn't know anything, you know, apart from a training, which you can get on the internet. Um, yeah, apart from what you can get on the internet, So my mum works with psychiatrists, and she's always saying they think they're gods. They really do, hand it to themselves on what a absolutely amazing job they do. I'm being sarcastic for my fellow Americans. No, psychiatrists are, they're just prescription writers. I can remember when I was sectioned in the Southern General, and I was in there for 6 months, and I was lucky if I seen my psychiatrist once every 2 weeks. Apart from that, I think I seen a psychologist once. Apart from that, I was just lounging about, drinking vodka, and smoking heroin. Um, and the psychiatric wing of the Southern General Hospital, And I was in there with the. This is quite interesting. I was in there with Doc Scott, the DJ, and he's. I don't know whether I should say this, but he's. I'm sure he won't mind. He's a heroin addict, He's a heroin addict as well, So we sort of, we got together, not in a romantic sense, but we got together, and we had a little thing going, where, he'd go out in the morning, he'd buy the drugs for the day, and I'd go to, I think it was Aldi down the road, and buy a litre bottle of vodka and bring it back. So we'd meet back at the psych ward, and we'd just party. We'd play. They had a pool table there, which was really good. So we'd just sit about, and play pool, all day and drink and do drugs, because we were both getting really good money at the time, and yeah, it was. I actually really enjoyed it in mental hospital. Um, that one, that one. Was one I was down at in London, which I'll talk more about. That that was pits. It was hellish. It was like maximum security, building, and I don't know who I was in with, but it was all maximum security. Every door had a big clunky lock on it, you know. And it was all brand new, you know. So you don't know, you know, who. I couldn't relate to it. I couldn't find anyone to relate to, you know, or talk to, you know, because everyone's just like sitting staring at four walls, and I was just having a good time, and nobody was into that. So fuck. Anyway, hang on. Yeah. So yeah, I had a great time in there, you know. Um, Plus the doctor was giving me codeine and Valium. My own personal doctor was giving me codeine and Valium at the time. And then the psychiatrist gave me something called procyclidine, which, oh man, that had like it's an upper, you know. It's to combat the side effects of Parkinsonism, which is something you get if you take antipsychotic medication, which she was also giving me at the time. So yeah, but when she gave me this, like, procyclidine, this antipsychotic medication, sorry, this medication for side effects, like, it just blew the roof off me, you know. It was great. It just really seemed to mix with the codeine, especially, you know, and the Valium, you know. And as soon as I took it, 5 minutes later, I was like up, springing about, bouncing about, you know, the mental hospital. And when I was in there, I even managed to get a boyfriend, not while I was in there, and not while I was inside the hospital, but I met somebody. I was looking for somewhere to score, you know, and the Southern Jail isn't governed, so I went out looking to see if I could see anyone that would, you know, that would know where to score, you know. And I bumped into this guy, you know, and he was really nice, you know. So we started sort of, you know, getting friendly, you know, being friends, you know. And so because I was allowed out for cigarettes, right? You know, you're allowed out for cigarettes, but they don't know where you are, you know. So and to be quite frank, I fucked off for like maybe 45 minutes, an hour and a half, you know, at a time, you know, so I could go and score and come back before Doc Scott was sections, you know. Yeah, so I met this guy, and I even managed to forge a romantic relationship with him, you know. And it was a nice guy, you know. He was cool, you know. He was a nice guy, you know. But it just shows you what you can do in mental hospital, you know. Don't let it become like don't let it restrict you, you know, because, you know, it is boring. Well, it can be boring, but if you're on the right medication, you know, which I was at the time, then, you know, it's really enjoyable, you know. I felt sorry for other patients though that weren't getting like things like comfort medication, dihydrocodeine and Valium, and they were having to, because the side effects of the drugs are just horrendous, you know, and people weren't getting anything for the side effects of the drug, the antipsychotics, you know, and they were like pure, like walking with their feet sliding across the floor, you know, like just in a really bad way. It was shit, you know, they're in a really bad way, you know. But then there was other people in that looked like they didn't give a fuck either way. They could take, you know, a whole bucket of antipsychotic medication and it still wouldn't affect them, you know, they still wouldn't have any side effects. But me and antipsychotic medication have had a real bad relationship, you know. I don't like the way it restricts you, you know. I don't like the way it you feel like you're towing a 10-ton loader, you know, a 10-ton truck, you know. It gives you weird sensations and things, you know. And oh god. And then I took an allergic reaction to it while I was dyeing my hair in there, and I've got just a tiny little bald spot. In fact, it's on this side there, you know, because of their fucking shit medication, you know. This is the thing, I don't know what this is tobacco, right? Cigarettes, right? But these, just, you know, just to fill you in, these were bought on an Indian reservation in Canada, okay? And apparently they make all their own stuff, they make their own cigarettes, they make their own fucking, I don't know, whatever, furniture and whatever, you know. And the new packets, right, of these, the cigarette, you'll notice the cigarettes over here and the tobacco over here, the new packets have got like all these mad pictures on them, you know, and they're all the same colour, every single packet, doesn't matter what kind of cigarette or tobacco material you're buying. It's all the same packaging and it's confusing as hell. I don't know how the shop assistants do it, you know. God. I've noticed that quite a few of you are showing me, are on YouTube showing me how, what it looks like when one of you is taking a, sorry, I've got a bad memory. I don't know whether that's because of the schizophrenia or because of the medication. I can never remember what I'm talking about, you know. Yeah, a psychotic episode, yeah, so like there's a lot of people on YouTube just now that are, you know, uploading videos of them taking psychotic episodes, or maybe they're hallucinating, or maybe they've been hallucinating that day, you know, and they're just talking about it and stuff, you know. Ever since I was given Valium, I've never had a hallucination again.